Hey mamas, in this video I am going to be talking about something a little bit controversial, and that is writing a birth plan. And there's a little bit of drama surrounding it just because there are some people who are loving writing birth plans and think you should do it for every birth. And then there are some people who think that it's a waste of time and that it doesn't help you at all for your birth. So I am a big lover of birth plans. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why it's so valuable to write a birth plan for your birth experience, how to write it, and then how to make it happen. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to it and hit the bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. So there are two reasons why there's a little bit of negativity surrounding writing a birth plan. And part of it comes from care providers who maybe have a little bit of anxiety when a mom gives them their birth plan and says, this is what I want to happen in my birth. Just because care providers sometimes see a different direction that a birth needs to go down, and it's going to come in conflict from what a mom has in her birth plan, what she wants for her birth. And so there's a little bit of conflict, a little bit of tension there. And for moms who are writing their birth plan, remember that, of course you want this birth plan to be for your dream birth. So you want it to be exactly what you want it to be, but you also have to be super practical about it. So if you're wanting, your partner to, use their teeth to tear the umbilical cord, that your care provider is not going to let that happen. It's not safe. It's not sanitary. So we have to remember that, we have to balance out what we want and what is practical. The other part of the negativity surrounding writing a birth plan is that a lot of people think that if you're putting time and effort into writing your goals in your birth plan, but then your birth doesn't turn out that way, you're going to be discouraged that you weren't able to achieve all of those things. And when someone says that, I say, yeah, that is actually a little bit true. But we have to think about our lives as like in other areas as well, with other important things, whether it's the school we want to get into, the job we want to have, the spouse that we're desiring. We set expectations, we set goals, we dream big for ourselves in these other really important areas of our lives. And birth should be no different, because it is a huge, pivotal, important time in your life that you want to set high expectations. You want to set goals and dream big for yourself, because you want to, have that most fulfilling experience. And so, it's not necessarily a bad thing to set those goals for yourself in birth. So now you know why there's a little bit of drama surrounding writing a birth plan, but I am a huge lover of birth plans, and so I'm going to share with you why writing one will be so valuable for your birth experience. So as you start writing your birth plan, you are going to be learning a lot about birth itself, and you are going to start discovering that birth has so many variables, and that there are no guarantees. And along with that, you are going to be learning about the different alternatives to the things that you don't want. So let's say you don't want an epidural. You're going to start learning about, the different ways that you can avoid getting that epidural, whether it's being in the shower or, asking for fentanyl, different things that are going to help you avoid the things that you don't want. But it's also going to be showing you why those things are important for your birth plan, for your whole birth experience. And the more that you learn about what you want, the more you are going to be learning about the whole birth process and vice versa. And so through this whole process, you are learning so much about the whole birth process, as well as what is important for you as you are walking into this birth experience and as you are going to be walking out of it. The most valuable thing that a birth plan will add to your birth experience is that you will be able to feel heard as you are in labor. And if you talk to women, whether they have a positive or negative experience has very little to do actually with how closely to their birth plan their birth experience followed. It has mostly to do with whether or not they felt heard during their labor, whether or not they had, decision-making power in their decision-making, and whether or not they felt supported throughout the entirety of their labor. And having a birth plan is going to help achieve all of those things and really help add to walking away from that birth experience with a really positive memories from it. So you know why writing a birth plan is super valuable, but how do you actually get into writing a birth plan? It might sound a little bit daunting, like I don't even know where to start. So honestly, one of the easiest things that you can do is go to Google and Google search birth plans. And there will be a whole list of ones that you can choose. Or you can go to your care provider and say, hey, I would like to have a birth plan. And a lot of care providers will give that to you. I will link down below some of the ones that I've used in the past for myself, and I've also given to clients that I think are really, really awesome. I really love the Earth Mama one, but I'll post those all down below for you to look at. And basically they're just checklists, and it says yes, I want this. Yes, I want this. If you don't want one, you don't check it. And the more that you are checking things off and kind of having to research hey, what is this? I don't know what this is. Or you are asking your doula or your OBGYN, you're going to be learning a lot about what those things are. And again, you're learning about that whole process. And I really believe that the more you are educated, the more empowered you're going to be entering that birthing experience. So writing that birth plan with just using the checklist will be just an easy way to get you started. The other part of writing a birth plan is the non-medicated side. So this is what you want to do outside the hospital, or once you're at the hospital, but not the medicine. So the environment, the mood you want set, the music playing, the smells that you want to be smelling, things like that. And that's really honestly super helpful to your birth partner because it really helps them understand what they can be doing during this whole experience that's going to make you feel comfortable and safe so that you are able to progress as quickly as possible. So what does the non-medical side look like? So let's say, for example, you wanted to labor at home at the beginning part of your labor. So maybe that's drawing a hot bath, or setting or lighting candles, or keeping the room nicely dimmed, or playing music. So make sure you are specific about those things. Again, it's going to really help your birth partner know what they can do during this process. So you know what makes writing a birth plan valuable, and you have now written your birth plan, but how do you make it happen during your birth? The first tip that I want to give you is to really internalize it. So that means reading it over and over again, making small tweaks to it along your pregnancy as you are learning more things about birth and what is important to you. Make those tweaks and really read it and talk about it a lot, and make sure you bring in your whole support team into your birth plan. So talk to your OB about it, and make sure that you're able to do the things that you are writing down in your birth plan. Because if you write down that you want to give birth standing up, but your hospital doesn't allow that, that's something you need to work out beforehand. Make sure you talk to your doula about it, because they're going to be the ones who are really advocating for this birth plan to be followed by the medical staff. And definitely, most importantly, include your birth partner, because they are the one who is going to be with you every step of the way, beginning to end. And so you really want to make sure that you guys are on the same page of the things that you are trying to achieve for this birth. Along with those things I just mentioned, you are also going to want to be preparing your body in alignment with your birth goals. So we've all heard the saying that labor is like running a marathon. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit right now. If I have signed up myself for a marathon and I've given myself the goal to run it in 4.5 hours, and my training consists of sitting on the couch, eating popcorn, watching The Office, which is amazing, but is not training that you want to do for a marathon, right? When race day arrives, I am not going to be able to run that marathon in 4.5 hours because I didn't train my body to do that. So the same is with birth. If you want to have an unmedicated birth, and you've written that down in your birth plan, you have to start preparing your body to be able to cope with the discomfort of labor. You're going to have to teach yourself, breathing techniques, or, hire a doula in order to encourage you during, those challenges of labor. So you are really going to have to prepare your body and mind for the kind of birth experience that you've written down in your birth plan. The last thing in achieving your birth goals is to be flexible with your birth plan. Like I was saying before, there are so many variables when it comes to birth, and there are really no guarantees. And so it's really important that you give yourself grace when there needs to be, when things have to diverge from your birth plan. And that is totally okay. So Maybe you were really hoping to have an unmedicated birth, but your labor has gone on, a lot longer than you thought it would. You're not progressing as quickly as you would have liked. And in order for you to get to that finish line and have a positive birth experience, you're going to need the epidural. And that is totally fine. If you, maybe your baby is in distress or you are in distress and doctors are recommending that you get a C-section, it is definitely okay for you to get that C-section even if it's not what you wanted in your birth plan. Because at the end of the day, we want a healthy and happy mom and baby. And so whatever we have to do to get that is going to be the best plan, whether or not it was in your birth plan or not. Along with you being flexible with your birth plan, it is super important that you expect your medical staff to be flexible with you. Maybe you are hoping for that natural birth, and it is taking a long time, and maybe they have a little bit of a timetable for you. I really think it's important that you have the expectation of them working around you and them being flexible for you. You are the birthing mom. You are the one going through all of these challenges in birth. So I think it's important to have that expectation that, you're going to be flexible, but they also need to be flexible as well. So I hope this video has helped you in deciding whether or not a birth plan is right for you. I definitely think a birth plan will benefit anyone in having a positive birth experience. So make sure that you send me any comments if you have any questions. Send them my way. And if you have a mama that you know who might need to see this, make sure you send this on to them. So thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.